Hello everyone, welcome to recitation 0. I'm Arvind Chandel and today we are here covering data preprocessing and I will like to keep it tight but don't let the pace fool you because this topic decides whether your model learns anything at all or not. So let's begin. Preprocessing determines whether our model has any chance of learning. The core principle is simple. Our model can learn only from patterns that exist in its input. If we feed it garbage, it learns garbage. That's the whole idea and concept behind garbage in, garbage out. Raw data is never model ready. Audio is tens of thousands of numbers per second. Images are millions of pixel values, and none of them is a meaningful to a gradient optimizer by default. Preprocessing converts raw reality into a representation the network can actually learn from. And critically, this is the first engineering decision that we make before architecture, before optimization, and before doing anything. Raw data has three properties that makes it directly training nearly impossible. These are exactly like high dimensionality. 1 second of audio is like 44,100 numbers. The useful signal is buried in there somewhere. Inconsistent scale. If one sample ranges from 0 to 255 and another 0.0 to 1.0, our gradients get dominated by whichever value is larger, completely distorting the learning. Noises, background, hiss, lightning, variation, and camera angles. Our model can't tell the difference, meaningful variance or meaningless variations. So it tries to learn both and fail to learn any at all. These are the three failure models preprocessing is designed to solve in reality. A raw audio waveform contains the right information but in the worst possible format. A raw waveform is just pressure measurements 44,100 per second. We got exactly three problems with feeding this directly to our model. First one, the same phenom starting 2 milliseconds earlier looks completely different numerically, so our model wastes all its computing capacity learning time shift invariance. It shouldn't need to learn that. Second one, frequency relationship are completely hidden in the time domain, and speech is fundamentally about frequency, right? Third one, a 3 second audio clip is like 1,32,000 dimensional import vector when we just need only about 40 numbers per frame, so we are wasting 99% of the representation for no reason whatsoever all. Now here comes the part, human hearing already solves this. The elegant part is that our human ears already solve this by using the cochlea physical decomposes sounds into frequency bands. That's a Fourier transformation happening in our skull directly. It spaces those frequencies logarithmically on a male scale. More sensitive at low frequency where speech information is dense and it sends a compressed summary to our brain, not just a raw pressure wave. Our MFCC pipeline mirrors that exactly STFT for frequency decomposition, male filter banks for perceptual scaling, and Septron for compression. This wasn't just an arbitrary choice, it was reverse engineered from auditory biology. A quick walkthrough of STFT, we just slice the signal into 25 millisecond overlapping frames and apply FFT to each one of those, giving us a time frequency spectrogram of male filter bank. 40 triangular filters on the male scale compresses the frequency axis, high resolution at low frequency and lower at higher one. Log compression. We take the log of a filter bank energies because loudness perception is logarithmic and it makes future more Gaussian. DCT, that stands for decorrelates the future and compress to 13 to 40 coefficients. Those are our MFCCs. Every step has a precise reason and logic behind applying to them. Normalization is just not an optional. Images such as pixels are 0 to 255. If we feed these raw, our gradient gets dominated by larger values. A pixel of 200 pushes aside 20 times harder than a pixel of just 10, regardless of whichever is more important, right? Min max normalization divides by 255 maps everything to 0 to 1. One line of code. Standardization subtracts the mean and divide by standard deviation. If we are using any pre-trained like ImageNet model, we use ImageNet's published stats. That means 0.485, 0.456, 0.406 and STD 0.229, 0.224 and 0.225. But why does this all matters? Unnormalized inputs create canyon-shaped loss surfaces. Our gradient descent zigzags among them and might need 300 epochs. Normalized inputs create smooth bowls like around 30 epochs. That's 10x more efficient and different by just using one formula. The generalization gap is training accuracy minus test accuracy. Augmentation closes it by forcing the model to learn the invariances. The logic: if a cat is a cat, so it doesn't matter whether it's flipped, rotated, or photographed in a dim light, it will remain a cat. The model should learn a representation invariance to those. So we show it all those invariant with the same level during the training. Horizontal flip enforces left-right symmetry. Rotation enforces orientation invariance and color jitter enforces lighting invariances. Random crop teaches the object isn't always centered. So we cut out forces. Global learning, the model can't just recognize dog white noises. So it has to learn all the patterns and invariances. Here comes the critical point. Wrong augmentation may corrupt our model. We just don't vertically flip digits, like a 6 may become a 9. We don't horizontally flip chest x-rays because our heart position is diagnostically meaningful. We just create a anatomically impossible training images that just won't work. We don't apply large rotation to OCR because they are tightly symmetric. But if we are considering satellite imagery, we just can go aggressive. We can flip them, rotate them freely because there is just no canonically order orientation that is applied for them. But there is a certain rule. Before applying any transformation, we ask ourselves, does this still preserve our level? If we are not sure, we just don't use that one. Now, preprocessing encodes domain knowledge. This is the conceptual reframe. Every preprocessing choice is a hypothesis about our problem. Male filter banks asserts that low frequency resolution matters more than the higher one. Horizontal flipping asserts left-right orientation is irrelevant. Using ImageNet normalization on a medical dataset, assert your images have the same distribution as ImageNet, which is almost always wrong. Compute your own stats without your own training data. The best practitioners can articulate exactly what claim every step in their pipeline makes. If we can't state the hypothesis, we shouldn't be applying any transformation. Here comes the last part. Better pipeline always beats a bigger model. When our model underperforms, the problem is always certain in the data pipeline, far more often than in our architecture, because more parameters don't always help if our signal is distorted. They just learn distorted features more precisely. Augmentation is just free compute. One line of code is worth doubling your dataset for that invariance. Preprocessing errors compound through every layer. The deeper our network is, the more damage to one upstream mistake can cause to overall architecture. And for transfer learning, if our preprocessing doesn't match the original training conditions, the pre-trained weights immediately loses all of their meanings. First question when performance is bad is never should be should I go deeper? It's always is my pipeline correct? So here comes the key takeaways that we can have. Raw data is never model ready. Audio preprocessing compresses. Thank you everyone for your time. We are happy to take your questions if you have any.